This is 3 Count Thoughts. You can catch a new episode every Monday where we discuss a moment in wrestling history and the week's highlights and hell knows in professional wrestling. Are you ready? Ring the bell. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of 3 Count Thoughts. I'll be your host, Jaxus, also known as Patrick Conway, and we got our buddy here, Maverick Stone. Say hello, Maverick.
Hello.
Hello. Maverick is sitting in a parking lot somewhere, chilling in his truck. So if he has a blah, 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 blah moment or something like that, it's because his Wi-Fi sucks. Or he's just losing his mind. It could be that too. Anyway, folks,
it could be that too. It has happened before.
Yes, most definitely. If you guys get a chance, please go to our YouTube channel or our Twitter. Both are at 3 Count Thoughts. That's it. Just at 3 Count Thoughts. It's just like that. It's
no spaces.
Simple. Yep, no spaces. All lowercase. Or you can go to 3countthoughts at gmail.com and you can send us a message there as well. We also have a Discord, which you should be able to access by clicking on, well, if you're in our Twitch stream or on our Kick stream, one or the other, you can actually just click on the links that are inside the About part of that page, or you can click on the links that our buddy Maverick here will add to the the podcasty stuff on your Spotify or any of those other things. By the way, if you are on Spotify or Apple or any of those other streaming platforms, please do us a favor and like and subscribe and write us a review. That helps us to get noticed and to be seen so we can further spread the love of the wrestling word to everyone. Yes, and stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. So tonight we are going to talk a little bit about some history. The history that we chose to go through today, if I can. Whoa, hey, my screen just freaked out. Don't do that. Sorry, I'm dealing with dual monitors. There we go. All right, so real quick, we're going to go over the brief history here of Japanese pro wrestling real quick. So, because last time we were talking about the Gold Trio and their impact on how modern wrestling came to be. Well, Maverick had brought up Japanese wrestling and that there was certain similarities and differences, but real quick, we're going to do a little quick history. So the first professional actual wrestler was Matsuda Sorikichi. I'm sorry if I'm brutalizing this person's name, but he was the former Rikishi or sumo wrestler. He made his in-ring debut in 1883, and he let's see, I had a thing here on just him specifically where I was able to do his background. So actually, he came to the United States and he had his first match in New York City in January 14th, 1884. He lost to the Englishman Edwin Bibby in March 1884. Wow, he's had a few matches. James Daly, a guy named Bibby, which was Edwin Bibby. And the next few months, he went on the road and wrestled in Cleveland, Baltimore, Buffalo. He made his path through the United States, and then his opponents ranged from Duncan C. Ross, Jack Gallagher, Benny Jones. So these are actually predating a lot of the wrestlers that, the Gold Dust Trio. So these guys were here in the United States. Actually, it says here during a February 15th, 1886 match with Evan Strangler Lewis, who is the world champion multi times over, as we discussed in the previous episode. Apparently broke his leg in a leg lock. Wow.
Yep.
That is some stuff, Bubba. But was back in action 1 month later. Wow. See, these guys are just a whole different level of tough. Anyway, so this guy was like the first Japanese wrestler. The actual introduction of Japanese pro wrestling, or as they referred to it as Puroresu. Now, it's Puroresu for those people who can actually pronounce words. It's basically pro wrestling is their version of it being shortened down, I guess they call it. as it came to be called for short, began in earnest in 1951, which that is later than the Goldust Trio, and that was a wrestling star known as Ricky Do. I'm so terrible at names. Ricky D. Ricky Ricky Dozan. So I wonder if it's Ricky Dozan. Ricky Dozan. Ricky Dozan? Does that sound good? Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
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 Anyway, it's Rikidozan. And he was he because of the anti-American sentiment in Japan, it actually did not go over well in Japan until after World War II is over with. The crowds are
Makes sense. We
yeah,
were bombing them.
well, yeah. But so then there was the creation of Japan Pro Wrestling Alliance in 1953, helping lift the popularity of the sport to the same level as the other national obsessions of professional baseball and sumo wrestling. So it actually got its notoriety finally, but it continued until Rikidozan's death, which the guy was murdered. Yeah, that was crazy. But
I'm sorry I'm laughing, but that's funny.
yeah, well,
Same time.
so people that wrestled under him were names that you would recognize, like the Great Baba,
Mm-hmm.
and then Antonio Inoki. I don't know why I'm having a problem with words. I'm trying to speak and stuff, but they split that.
Antonio Inoki.
Yeah, so Baba and Antonio Inoki, they split from the previous faction, and they created their own, which was how we ended up with New Japan Pro Wrestling and All Japan Pro Wrestling, respectively. So the differences between New Japan Pro Wrestling and All Japan is the strong style that we're used to seeing with like Shinsuke Nakamura, and the lack of storylines, and being more straight
Hurdy
match
hurdy.
based. Yeah, it's very straight match based. There's not a whole lot of storyline going on. You can get all that from, I think it was the New Japan, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
New Japan Pro
yeah,
Wrestling.
and then so all
It's where
pro.
Shinsuke Nakamura came from, New Japan.
Okay, so and then so All Japan Pro Wrestling is kind of the opposite. Now, mind you, they still got the strong style of wrestling involved, but they focused more on the storyline element of the pro wrestling side of things. So you get more of that in that side of their. So you got a little bit of both flavors going on there, which that was that was how they got their stuff going. Upsurge of new groups, but dwindling fan base. In 1950, saw a dynamic change in the pro wrestling. The sport's popularity began to wane, with the legendary Baba and Inoki largely stepping out of the limelight so that they could basically run their companies. Broadcast of matches were moved from prime time to late night slots, and wrestling genres became increasingly specialized. The establishment of frontier martial arts wrestling in 1989 by Baba's apprentice Onita. Okay, so we know who that name as well. Onita Atushi inspired the throng of new indie organizations to throw their hats into the ring. So this is where you start getting like death matches and stuff that's like really hardcore, and then you get like the Great Muda, and so yeah, it's like they just keep growing and growing and growing. Regional groups and wrestling as entertainment. Like I said, I was only going to highlight this pretty quickly, but so if anybody's interested in looking at this, if you go to nippon.com and you just type in I think it's a brief a brief history of Japanese professional wrestling. It's a really good article that just kind of highlights all of this, and you could just skim through because it's gonna break things down. Like major professional wrestling organizations, they actually have like a chart. They have a part where it says the Old Guard, All Japan Wrestling, New Japan Wrestling, and Pro Wrestling Noah. So you have like these three promotions, who formed them, and who's involved with the organizations, and then it goes to like legend groups, the IGF, Real Japan Pro Wrestling, and then Tinryu project. I don't know what that means, but deathmatch groups. It goes Big Japan Pro Wrestling. So it gives you a nice, good breakdown, and it goes for like a while. Indie, local groups, and then it's got related tags and things of that nature. But yeah, if you go, this is a really good article. It doesn't show me like who wrote the article, so I can't really give any kind of like credit to an individual, but it's all from this nippon.com, nippon.com is where I've got that information from, just so that those people who are interested in Japanese wrestling and maybe don't know a little bit about the history of it, or those that do know the history about it and would like a little bit deeper dive into it, this actually goes pretty far into that. So I would suggest, if you have a deep interest in it, this is the place to go. So now, Mav, with your interest in Japanese wrestling, how far have you kind of delved in there? Did you watch a lot of New Japan or anything at any time?
I watched a little bit of. I didn't watch a whole lot because it's not really offered here in the States.
Right,
I
it's
mean,
not
it
an
is,
easy find, right?
it's not easy to find it. But I sometimes keep track of it. Yeah.
I mean, I
when
was able
can
to catch
remember.
like a few videos of their, of their matches. Now, mind you, now we can watch it anytime we want to, because New Japan Pro Wrestling is actually a lot easier to find if you just
Yeah, it's a
Google
lot
it.
easier to find now, but
Yeah.
back when I was getting into it, no, it wasn't really that easy to find.
Yeah, it's actually, there's some pictures of these guys. It's pretty cool. They were they fit the
Strong
aesthetic of,
style.
well, they just their body shapes and stuff like that are this very similar to the same guys. It seems like bodybuilding, the way it worked out in that period of time, like from the 1800s all the way up until like the 1960s, 1970s, the body shapes, like there was a different standard of what bodybuilding looked like. And like, so because a lot of
No,
people
I
think of
get it. I
Japanese people as
understand
being
that.
small, and these guys are not small.
These
They're like,
guys aren't small, and
no, they're
then
like
a lot of
six
these
foot tall,
Americans.
240 pounds. They're just they're as big as any of these Americans. And it's funny how you the mental state of Americans, thinking of the Japanese as being smaller individuals, because there is quite a bit of smaller, people that we see. But if you were to
I
compare
mean,
them
like
to the
AJ
small
Styles is
Americans,
smaller.
well, no, I'm not even talking about AG Styles. I'm talking about like the Asian culture that has come here to the United States. A lot of them are not built, But if you look at us, we're not built either. We are now just because of the
Sorta.
fitness craze. But man, you look at people nowadays, everybody's a monster. I feel like a little tiny human being now. You know, Everybody looks like they're massive, huge monsters now. So, we want to take a quick break and then we'll go right into the wrestling for the week. Like I said, folks, if you got any questions or anything you'd like to add, and if there's anything you would like me to look up, like, I mean, because I don't spend a whole lot of time on it. I don't want to, lose everybody on it. But if there's anything in the wrestling history you'd like me to check out, like, Brazilian wrestling and when that happened, or wrestling in Mexico, or European catch can, or whatever, hit me up. I mean, I'll
Ooh,
probably cover
Lucha
all of it.
Libre. Love
Right.
Lucha
So I'm
Libre.
probably going to capture all of it at some point or another. But if you guys show an interest in it, maybe I'll try to dig in a little deeper. And if these segments are boring as hell, then maybe we'll just cut them out at some point. I don't know. But for right now, let's go ahead and we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. And yeah, then we'll get into the wrestling for the week. All right.
I'm your host, Maverick Stone.
It's me, Gingerino42.
I'm Romer.
Hey, this is Sassy Lady.
And I'm Jaxus. And we are the Fallout Roundtable. Join us as we explore various topics from the Fallout universe brought from multiple perspectives. We can be found on your favorite podcatchers from Spotify to iTunes, or follow us on Twitter at FalloutRTB, or our email falloutrtb@gmail.com. Be sure to rate, follow, and subscribe. Thank you.
Hey folks, welcome back. We're back from our little commercial break there, and now we're going to get into the tribute for the troops to start things off. So The Trooper to Troops, it started off with the national anthem. Did you watch the Trooper for the Troops?
I skimmed it. I did not watch it fully because I was working.
Oh, okay. So you were doing kind of that side eye kind of watch. So they had this group, they're like Grammy Award winning, whatever. And it was The War and Treaty, I guess is the name of them. And they did the national anthem, and it was well, it was the national anthem. Uh every time I hear somebody, do the national anthem, I'm not super impressed by anybody who does the national anthem because it all sounds the same. It's the same song.
Mhm.
I mean, I like the song and I like the pride behind it, but I don't get impressed by their rendition of it. Now, mind you, when Rosie O'Donnell, I think it was, did the national anthem, I was impressed in a different kind of way with that one because it was terrible. Um, but that's a whole different thing. So, and on commentary, we had JBL, who was the starter of Tribute for the Troops. He was there on commentary with Kevin Patrick and Michael Cole. And
Of course, Michael Cole. He's on everything.
he's on everything, right? Yeah. So it started out kind of just they were chit chatting and carrying on about, it's the beginning of the show. JBL, you started all this, and patting him on the back, and he was so proud about it. And then they did some highlights about, Tribute for the Troops, a little back screening stuff. And then the first match for the night was Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee. Did you catch this match at all?
No,
Okay, so Santos
I watched the
Escobar.
highlights afterwards, but no, I didn't watch it live.
Yeah. So Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee, they go into it's kind of a flippy do bang bang. There was one point in the match where Santos Escobar kicked Dragon Lee where it looked like it took his freaking head right off. It was a pretty okay match. It wasn't super impressive to me. I don't know why it was on True for the Troops, but in reality, it was too fast. I don't think it was meant to do anything other than advance Escobar. I don't think it was meant to be like a highlight reel kind of thing because it was kind of one and done. And Dragon Lee kind of took the dive on that. I think it was just a, here, do me a favor. I need you to take the fall on this so we can move on. That kind of crap. And then after that. Well, there was this one part that I thought was really stupid looking. So, if I remember, it was Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee grabs the back of Santos's head, right? And he goes to the corner of the turnbuckle and he swings his head down towards the turnbuckle like he's going to bounce his head off the turnbuckle, right? And then he kicks the bar on the other side like that's going to do something major. Like, even if it jiggles, I mean, the turnbuckle hitting you in the face is not going to be like that damn devastating, especially when somebody lightly taps it and it wiggles like this much. It's not like it's flinging up in your face. It just looked lame. It didn't look like it hurt. It was kind of a waste of time. And the thing is there was a whole lot of parts in that match where you could see a whole lot of like setting each other up, obvious cooperation.
You could tell cooperation was a big thing that they didn't match well.
Well, that's just it. In those kind of matches, a lot of the times I see too much cooperation where they're like waiting for him to come around so they can do the little swingy thing or, whatever it is they're going to do. And I'm just like, can we not make it so damn obvious? Does it have to be so blatantly in your face? So after the match, you got Dragon Lee kind of laid out because he got blasted at the end and then pinned. So actually, I think he finished him with the Phantom Driver. Yeah, he finished him off with the Phantom Driver, pinned him, and then walked away. And then Dom comes in the ring, holds his like title over the top of him, and then spits in his face, which is ironic because we know what happens later. So
yeah,
we'll get
it sort
into
of just goes down the tubes.
Yeah. So it cuts to a backstage segment where Randy Orton comes in and he bumps into to Nick Aldis, right? And he comes in, he hands Nick Aldis his paycheck. And
I remember this.
Nick Aldis grabs it and he goes, Randy, this is for 100,000. Your fine was for 50,000 or something along the lines of that.
It was 50,000.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, but the check he handed him was for 100,000,
Yeah, it's for 100.
and then
I
Nick
love
Aldis
the
is
line he
like,
said.
what's this for? He goes, you're paid too much, and he goes, well, this is for next time. So I think Nick Aldis has got another RKO coming in his future. You know what I think is they're going to have like I don't know if it's going to be full on or not, but I smell a little McMahon Austin tension going here. You know what I mean? So there
I
might
can
be that kind of.
smell it. I can smell what the Rock is cooking, but I don't think you're barking up the wrong tree, up the right tree.
Oh, you don't think it's going to be kind of like a love-hate relationship where he kind of.
I mean, it could be a Baron Corbin type situation. You remember when he was constable or whatever they called him back then?
Well, that was just the whole McMahon stories done over again. That's the thing. It's the dynamic regurgitated. Anytime you have an authority figure and the other guy fighting against
I
each
mean,
other,
I
it's just
think
McMahon Austin.
I think it could work though because Nick Aldis is a wrestler.
Well,
He's wrestled in Ring of Honor and
yeah.
Impact.
Well,
So
he'll
to be
definitely be able to
honest,
take a bump
yeah.
better than McMahon does. That's for sure.
The stunner from WrestleMania.
But his pompous kind of like, way he projects himself, should go over well against Randy Orton if they do get into kind of a back and forth. That might be kind of cool for something that kind of keeps coming back up. And then after that, they did a tribute recap where they, did like the past history where John Cena commercial is like, thank you for being the troops and blah, blah, blah. We love doing tribute for the troops. And they go through a little video package and then it comes back. And then you got Cody. This one kind of was like blah to me. Just so you come back and Cody's in the ring and he says a little promo on his respect for the tribute for the troops, which is good.
He's doing the John Cena thing.
Yeah. But so then it goes into the Army does a drill team performance, and it's just kind of lackluster, I guess. It's three guys that are out there, two of them are spinning their guns around, and it's like, we have seen this. I mean, thanks and all. Okay, you're good at operating your gun. I wasn't real excited. Mind you, yes, I'm glad that they got some highlights on, but you could have done something else to kind of like make it worth it. I don't know. Either that or had more people. Like, it was just the fact there was just three. You know what I mean? Like, have like 10 of them come out there and do that. Then it would have a little bit more pomp and circumstance to it. You know what I mean?
It looked cooler.
Yeah. Are you fading on me there, bro?
No.
Okay. Making sure you ain't falling out on me.
No. I was just looking something up.
So, and then after that, it kind of cuts off to the commentary team. And the commentary team is like talking, and then Michael Cole and them start gushing over this commentator for the Army Navy game. And his name is Brad Nessler. The guy's got a great voice and all. He's like a legend in his area.
Brad Nessler is or I think he is a sports radio broadcaster.
Okay, well, he's commentating for the Army Navy game coming up, which probably already happened by now. I don't know.
Yeah, the Army Navy game happened 2 weeks ago. Not this last week. Not this week.
Well, it had to have been after. It had to have been after Tribute for the Troops, though, because.
Oh yeah.
Well, Tribute for the Troops.
Yeah, because right now bowl games are going on right now.
Yeah, Tribute for the Troops just happened last Friday, so. It had to have happened somewhere midweek, like this last.
No, it's Saturday.
Okay, so there you go.
It was the day after.
Okay, so it was the day after Friday Night Smackdown. Okay, that makes sense. So right after that, Bobby Lashley comes out to the ring, and then he does a little segment about him being in the Army, and just his respect for the troops as well. And then here comes out Karrion Kross with his full entrance and everything, and you watch Bobby Lashley like off to the side while this whole thing's going on. He almost looks disinterested. He doesn't look like he cares a whole lot about Karrion Kross coming out. Like no intimidation whatsoever. Like he was just like, yeah, I got this. So just as like Bobby gets there, it kind of cuts to commercial and then it goes into the Karrion Kross thing. And you get to see a commercial for the Iron Claw. What is your are you excited to possibly see the movie about the Von Erichs?
The Von Erichs, it's a very interesting movie. I've seen the trailers. It looks really nice. I think Zac Efron will be a good Von Erich.
They don't seem like so. They don't look like they. So even though they'll look like they're decent in size, they don't look like they're the size of the Von Erichs though. Like you know what I mean? Their body sizes.
You gotta give and take for movie stuff.
Right. But it just like I'm like.
I get where you're coming from, but you gotta think movie style to this, man. We can't get someone as big as
y'all need another 20 pounds.
Yeah, y'all need another 20, 30 pounds on you, bro.
But that is coming out December 22nd for anybody who's interested to go see the Iron Claw movie. And then Bobby looked around. Like I said, he looked bored waiting for Karrion Kross to come in. I didn't like the commentary mix up with Nestler there. I mean, I know they were trying to just kind of give the guy, you know, his flowers and stuff. And it just seemed like it took away from the match itself. You know what I mean? Because they were too focused on each other and it didn't really focus very much on Bobby Lashley and Karrion Kross.
And to be honest, I'm going to be honest here. I don't think Karrion Kross is much. He needs to go back down to NXT.
He needs to shave his head.
he needs to do that too.
He lost some of his dynamic when he grew his hair back. And that's just my personal opinion. He does not look anywhere near as menacing as he did when he had his head shaved. It's like they took away from everything that he was, and then just
again,
yeah. I mean, he did that to himself. He grew his own hair out, and he was doing what he wanted to do. Honestly, I think the one thing that they did get right was making him shave his head in the first place. But yeah, making him go back down to NXT may not be a big deal. I'd say let him go away for a while, like about a month or so, and then have him come back in a big way. Yeah, but they didn't let him come back.
But he's also been losing, though. That's the problem. He's not winning.
Yeah, well, he just got his ass stomped by Bobby. Dude, Friday night. It was like a jobber movement. You know, he just showed up.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. That's what I was getting to get into is that it just seemed like he was there. Matter of fact, in my notes, it says Karrion did a job here, you know? And then I also put in there, I think Karrion should reshave his head. And then it goes to a backstage segment with Bayley talking smack about how she's going to get back into everything, blah, blah, blah. Then it goes into a break. Then they recap last week, which they love to do because it kills more time, you know. And then they show off a couple of, it's a general and his guy, you know, they do a whole, hey, I'm in the crowd because everybody knows exactly all these generals' names and everything. Nobody cares. You know, I mean, yeah, cool. Glad you're in the crowd. Enjoy. You could have showed a whole line of soldiers and it would have mattered more to see that group of soldiers than it would to see a general standing there because nobody knows who the hell he is. Anyway, and then it goes into a Punk promo and it was the top of the 9 o'clock hour. So he wasn't getting cut off this time because you remember last time they waited until the very end of the show and then they let Punk come on. Well, this time, you know, he made a point to state that they're not going to cut me off this time. So go ahead and chant, you know. So they went ahead and they started chanting again. And then, so he started getting into his little diatribe there and talking about, he was kind of pitting like Raw and SmackDown against each other as far as, you know, which direction he's going. Well, Raw was a little bit louder, guys, you know, and then he was trying to see how the crowd would react. Basically, it seemed to me like the crowd was like poo-pooing on him going to Raw because they were like, we don't want you to go there. Then we'll have to watch that show.
Yeah.
Stay here on SmackDown. We'll actually enjoy it. But
stay here.
Well, and in defense, I think Raw has gotten a lot better in the past few months. It's gotten way better than it was.
Yeah, ever since Triple H has taken over, it's gotten better.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
tend to
still
agree.
the best. It's still not the best, but it's better.
Well, it's just so long, and it's hard to stay.
It's
hard.
3 hours. I'm like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
You don't need. I get you got a time block you gotta fill, but
So
3 hours ain't it, Chief?
So he kind of hinted about him going into the Royal Rumble in this, and then he had also mentioned how Seth isn't even the man in his own house, which that was a nice little burn. Which I think that
Mhm.
one's been done before by somebody. So I think I remember hearing somebody else using that as a slam on Seth. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it's been
It
done.
seems like every other person, like their second time, usually brings up Becky at some point.
Right. So
Rope.
bad word, not botch, just she kind of misstepped. Botch is a bad word. We don't use botch. You don't
Botch is
botch,
bad.
because like a race car driver doesn't botch a turn, he crashes, right? Botching means that you missed a line. Now, if somebody botches it, I would say it's because they misspoke a word in their line or something.
Mhm.
I just don't believe in the word botch. To me, it's a crap word. But so she misstepped and she jacked her knee up, and then Bailey
Blew it
comes.
out.
Yeah, well, Bailey comes in as a distraction and actually legitimately helps Asuka win the match in a roll up. So that was pretty cool, and for at least for damage control. But then I
I
guess
don't
she got
understand
helped out
damage
of there
control.
with
I'll be honest, I don't understand.
what, damage control?
Yeah, they just added a new member.
Well, oh, you're talking about Kairi Sane?
Yeah, and Asuka.
Well, Kairi Sane, you're tired, my friend. So
Yeah,
Kairi Sane
yeah,
and
stop
Asuka,
it.
they were the Kabuki Warriors before, and then
Kabuki or
Bailey
whatever.
took out Kairi Sane and like just completely beat her ass and like kicked her out of the. Then she comes back and now they're all goody goody. There's some sort of dynamic going on there at some point. I don't know if it's going to come to a head or it's just going to disappear. It depends on how the dynamic works. It's one of those got to read the crowd kind of thing. So their initial storyline, I think they were going to kind of oust Bailey at some point, but it kind of keeps floating back and forth. So I don't really know where that's going. And plans might have changed as soon as Charlotte hurt herself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that might have changed their plans. So we don't know what's going to happen there with damage control. So we'll see where that goes going in the future. After that, they had a Medal of Honor recipient video, and then Logan Paul
Not
tournament
gonna lie, it was pretty
promo
cool.
video. What's that?
Not gonna lie, it was pretty cool.
What, the recipient video?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean the guy like jumped on a dude that had a bomb strapped to him, and helped, and he hurt himself pretty bad, and still lost a lot of his friends. That was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Kevin Owens broke his hand.
Not surprised.
Yeah, and then Logan Paul tournament promo video. Did you see some of the people that I'll get into that one later. But it was, yeah, I want to touch on something. It'll be into the NXT thing, but the new people coming in, I just want to get to that. But anyway, so Solo's music hits and him and Jimmy make their way to the ring, right? And oh, excuse me, I think I skipped something here. Randy and Punk and LA Knight meet backstage, and he's LA, and then Punk says, "Good luck, boys," and then walked off. Now, what I think that was a precursor to what would happen later on in Monday Night Raw when Punk would sign with Raw. I think that was kind of him saying "C'est la vie" to Randy Orton and LA Knight and saying, "This is in your hands" when it comes to dealing with the bloodline. And then LA Knight, Randy turns to LA Knight and asks him if he's ready, and then he goes, "Yeah," and then walks off. But that was kind of cool. But Solo's music hits, and Jimmy and them go to hit the ring, and then it goes right to break. When the break comes back, Randy and LA Knight's entrance is going on with some banter between the two of them. They're kind of like they're kind of playfully talking shit to each other, kind of thing. And then they were kind of unsure about each other, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. You know how the beginning usually starts off with it. But at the very end of the match, LA Knight is going for his, finishing move, and then Randy just snatches it and does an RKO at the end, which dude is his first match back. I mean, come on. It's got to be able
Come on,
to...
you got to do an RKO.
Right. So there's a little bit of animosity kind of going, but then he kind of leans over, gives him the finger, and then they get up, and LA Knight and Randy Orton seem to be on the same page, at least as for now. And then later on, you just kind of see them, their interactions are kind of showing them to be friendly. Now, little caveat, I'll probably talk about this again next week, is AJ Styles showing up. You notice that not in Tribute for the Truth.
You noticed though, people didn't care about AJ Styles.
No, not a whole lot. Not until he took out LA Knight.
Not until
Once he took out LA Knight, and then Randy's like, what the hell's going on? So that's got everybody kind of scratching their heads. Now you remember before AJ disappeared, LA Knight and AJ had issues, I think, while he was in NXT, right? Didn't they wrestle at one point, or was that? I know he got into it with Waller. AJ got into
it was Waller.
But
it was Waller.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering if he got into some sort of, because I mean, I'm trying to figure out why this LA Knight thing. Well, we're gonna find that out. We'll
find it out.
So they work together pretty good, and then after the end of it, they both get on the ring corner, they do their thing, and then the show ends. That's it. And then we get into Monday Night Raw. Monday, they start off Monday Night Raw with a recap, and then it goes right into McIntyre and Sammy, showing McIntyre just devastating Sammy and Jay, and then it goes right to the ring with Jay. He's doing a promo. He's talking about how he got his yeet back, and then he runs his mouth a little bit, and then here comes McIntyre right into a match. So it wasn't a bad match. Jay's dancing, posing shit may be a little bit much, where he's doing the whole, looking at his hand and then punching. It's like, dude, you're not The Rock. Okay, get your own gimmick. Just a little bit. I don't know, but I don't know. Did you care about this match?
It was okay. It wasn't the best, but it was okay. It could have been better.
Yeah,
absolutely honest.
Yeah, I don't know. It
just seemed like it was just there. It was filler.
Yeah, well, and then at the end of the match, to win it, McIntyre has to stick his thumb in Jay's eye, and then gives him the Claymore. It's like, McIntyre didn't need to do any of that shit, but it's like he just did it to make sure that he's perceived as the bad guy,
Mm-hmm.
Then it goes right to break.
I think that's Yeah,
it goes right to break, and then after that, the Judgment Day is doing a backstage, and there's tension between Rhea and Damian.
Not surprising. That's been going on for weeks.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of tension going on
ever since Survivor Series, that's been happening.
Yeah, War Games. Yeah. Well, that's when Damian tried to take control, and that now he's like, so I'm not in charge
anymore. Oh no, I made a mistake.
So they start off like bantering, right? They're like getting argumentative with each other. Rhea cuts that shit off because she's the real one wearing the pants in that family.
Yes, yes, we all know this.
So she's like, she's going to go teach Maxine Dupree a lesson, because I guess Maxine's getting too big for her britches, saying that she's like getting to the point where she could actually, go for titles and whatnot. So Rhea goes to the match. Dude, the match wasn't exciting at all, but Rhea's...
No, it's a stamper.
Well, Rhea's submission hold at the end, though. Did you see that submission she put on her?
No.
Oh, she had her
I was
folded up.
sick I was sick that week.
Right,
So
right.
I was in bed.
Rhea folds her up like an envelope. She's got her face down to the mat like she's cockeyed, got her knee on top of this other side of her face. She's folded back where her back is up and her leg in a like a lock. I don't know. I'm sure there's a name for this move of some sort, but whatever it is, it's ouchie. That's what it is. That's the name of the move. This is ouchie. Because that chick was hurting that day. She tappity, she was done. And then she was like messing with her more, you know, she wanted to do more. And then Ivy Nile gets inside the ring and then faces off with her. The thing is Ivy Nile.
I don't understand that. I know the Creed brothers and Diamond Mine are there.
The Creed brothers are like running in to save everybody.
I don't like that.
And I don't either, because it's kind of stupid. These guys need to get some personality beyond
they need to get into a feud with like New Day or something.
Well, they need to get something that shows some range, because right now, like Julius shows some cool, like, you know, muscle bound, you know, feats, and then Brutus, he's kind of this ground and poundy kind of dude, you know, but like the whole cannonball finisher move sucks. I hate that thing. And then
it's okay. It's not as good as
well, just
Kevin Owens cannonball.
I mean, literally, you got a dude doing a move where he's like doing a suplex, and you got the other guy coming down on top of him in this cannonball thing, and he's landing right on top of the. I just smell an accident waiting to happen here, where he's not going to land good, and the bottom person's going to get completely annihilated. That's just me, you know. I see it as kind of unnecessarily unsafe kind of move that doesn't look that good. It doesn't make me go, oh, that's so devastating. One of these days it will be devastating, but it won't look that way until that person tries to get up and walk away, you know? So yeah, until that person's hurt. But when Ivy Nile gets in the ring and she's facing off with Rhea and looking her in the face, she legit looked like a kid. Like she was scared looking. Like she didn't have any kind of like, I'm tough and I'm coming up. Like she just had the look in her eye was like, she could kind of squash it. Like she, you know, she just looked like a mouse.
Could kill her.
Yeah. I don't know. She just looked a bit shook to me. Then it goes to a break and it comes back. And then now we come to Punk's moment of choice on Monday Night Raw.
But we all know what he's doing.
We already know what he's going to do. So he went Monday and he's going to face off with Seth, and they made it official. He is actually going to be in the Royal Rumble match. He made that after him and Seth, you know, talk shit to each other for a while and faced off. And honestly, the banter back and forth between him and Seth, yeah, I mean, it was kind of visceral. But at the same time, it was kind of like, okay, somebody wrote some of this shit for you guys, because it could have got nastier, and it didn't. Then they did a video promo, like they did another break, like right after Punk and them did their thing. And then the video, it's Shinsuke Nakamura on a video screen. And
I don't like it.
I don't either. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't make me want to see Shinsuke Nakamura in any match with anybody. I don't see the whole, now he's, you know what? Have him do some nasty, dirty shit. You know, Shinsuke has not
spit in people's faces.
Well, and I don't want him spitting mist in people's faces. I want Asuka to do that, and only Asuka.
I mean, I get that, but what are you going to get at this point?
I don't.
Shinsuke Nakamura. Just have him revert back to NXT Nakamura.
That might be better off, you know, just have him be a badass. But like, I don't know. I think he needs to rethink himself. So Punk
I get that.
After that, Punk bumps into Judgment Day on the backstage, and Damian and them kind of like get all puffy chested towards Punk, and Punk like he's like looking around. He's like, "Where's Rhea?" Indicating where's your boss, you know, which pissed off Damian. So Damian's like, I hope you do, win the Royal Rumble and that you go after such and such. That way I can cash in on you. And he's holding up his thing and Punk just kind of laughs him off.
When is he going to use that?
I honestly, I'm not sure. It might be his WrestleMania moment, to be honest with you.
I'm going to laugh if he tries to do it and he loses.
I don't think that's going to happen because it's happened too many times recently.
Or I think it could happen because there are rumors
I mean, it could,
that the women's, as you see, the women's box was fine. She got Io Sky got her title, but there are rumors out there that the men's winner is going to be like a Baron Corbin, where he tries to cash in and it doesn't go right.
Well, it could work. That could work because if Damian was to like lose the chest or the case, and he was to kind of reevaluate himself, not really, but storyline wise, like he goes into this reevaluation mode, and then he just comes out as a beast and starts smashing fools.
Or he goes his own way out of the Judgment Day and just starts smashing Dominic and Finn Balor after he realizes.
Maybe, who knows? But either way,
that'd be good. I'd be happy.
Win or lose, it will elevate Damian because his acting is getting better and better all the time. The Judgment Day is probably the saving grace of Monday Night Raw, to be honest. There's sometimes their segments are like, but there are times where they're the ones that are saving the show because they're the interesting thing happening. So the Judgment Day hits the ring and they tell the whole locker room that they're being put on notice. And who comes out, lo and behold, but Truth. Truth comes out and he's like carrying like lights and he's like, hey, I was trying to get into the locker room and I couldn't get in there because the door is locked and da-da. And the rest of the Judgment Day is like, Truth, you're not part of the group, you're not this, you're not that. And then JD McDonough's like running his mouth, and then Truth's like, I gotta tell you the truth, man, nobody likes you, JD. You're gonna have to kick you out of the group. And then Damian's like kind of like, no, I want to hear him, kind of eggs him on, right? And he gets closer, and then he just clotheslines. He goes, everybody loves Truth, right? And he like gets the crowd into it, and he goes, except me. And he just fucking plows him, dude. Just plows him to the ground. And then the whole group just starts beating on him. And here comes the Creed brothers running to the ring. Yeah, they come running to the ring, and like Judgment Day just kind of slides out of the ring. It wasn't like too big of a deal. And then it cuts to, it's really weird how they did this. So the Creed brothers like come to the ring, right, to rescue Truth. It cuts to a backstage segment where Punk meets up with Kofi Kingston, Ricochet, and Chad Gable, and they have like a friendly engagement right there. And then there's a little spot where Punk bumps into McIntyre, and McIntyre talks about how it's going to be, his story, and I don't care about Cody or your story, and da-da-da-da. And then it goes right back into the Judgment Day, like leaving the ring, like leaving the back area. There's a weird segment there. It kind of didn't make sense. And then it went right into Becky in the ring, calling out Nia Jax. Nia Jax and Becky get into this long conversation about, her getting punched in the face and how it makes how it made a difference in her career. And then Becky's like, no, you're just a, blah, blah, blah. You didn't have that much to do with that. You just made me show everybody how I had tenacity and I was able to push through and blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of it, Becky starts putting her hair up. She's like, come on. She wants to get in a fight. And then Nia Jax, is probably her best verbal segment that I've seen, just kind of leans forward and goes, you need this more than I do. And then just walks out of the ring. It was kind of like, ooh, that stung. Because as emotionally charged as Becky was at that moment, for her to just keep a placid kind of look to her and to do that to her and just walk out, that left her hanging. it made her look a little stupid at that moment, and it kind of made Nia look like the victor in that verbal confrontation.
Yeah.
Backstage with Cody, he's happy for Punk and Adam, but he has more to do. Shinsuke and Cody match, not a bad match. Again, it ends with misting in the face, and again, just I don't know. Shinsuke mauls the hell out of Cody at the end, and then grabs a chair and he goes in there like he's gonna go. And here comes the Creed brothers again. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man.
and then Shinsuke just drops nonchalantly, kind of drops the chair and just slides out of the ring. And then that's the end of the show. So that's Monday night in a nutshell. Not super exciting, guys. There's a whole lot there, and storyline wise, there's stuff that keeps the story going, but nothing really went wow. I didn't have any wow moments other than when Santos Escobar took freaking Lee's head off. That was like the wowest moment as far as action goes. I don't know. It just was a lackluster Monday to me. All right, so we're going to finish things off here with NXT, and we are going to recap. It's actually Deadline that we're recapping because, or actually, we're not.
Deadline was Saturday. It was the same day as Army Navy.
Yeah, well, and so NXT, the show itself on Wednesday or Tuesday, it started off with a recap of Deadline. Dragon Lee won the North American Championship.
Woo!
Lexus saying that it wasn't him that attacked Trick after losing to Carmelo. So that changes the storyline up a little bit. And what it does is it kind of points the finger right back at Carmelo in a sense.
I think it is Carmelo.
Well, and we're going to get into that. Did you watch NXT at all?
Remember, I was sick.
Okay, I remember you're sick. You can still watch TV. Anyway,
no.
Trick is the Iron Survivor. He won the Iron Survivor Challenge, and Blair Davenport won the women's version of the Iron Survivor Challenge.
I watched Deadline though.
Okay, so Cora Jade. Well, then you know about these things.
Yeah, I know about these.
So Cora Jade blasts Valkyria from behind and announces that she's going to take over. And leaves her laying on the stage, knocked out, and then Dragunov retains after a brutal match. Like that match was it was
brutal.
That is a highlight reel type of match, and you know what? Dragunov brings it. I don't like his talking segments nearly as much as
I don't like him either because it doesn't make sense half the time. But
he's just kind of all over the place. But him in the ring and his emotion while he's in the ring, he says a lot more by not saying anything. He says it a lot better in the ring. And then so the actual start of the show is Carmelo backstage. He had been attacked backstage and he was holding his knee. Here comes, Trick, and he's checking on him. Are you okay? Did you see who did this to you? No, but I think I have a good idea, blah, 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 right? So it fades off from that, and then it goes right to the ring, and there's Cora Jade in the ring cutting a promo. And she's, dressed a little bit differently than she normally does. What she reminded me of was, oh, my goodness. Who was the female NXT champion that was let go because of her OnlyFans or whatever?
Oh, it was Mandy Rose.
Mandy Rose. Okay, so she's looking like she's trying to emulate Mandy Rose. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I can see
I'm getting that vibe from her. Like, put some respect on my name kind of thing. She's kind of going down that road. At least that's what I'm getting from this. And then so she talks some BS to Valkyria, who comes out to meet Cora. And then Blair Davenport comes popping out after that. And then shortly after that, here comes Nikita, who we have not seen in quite a while. She comes storming to the ring. She's like, hey, Blair, I hadn't forgotten what you'd done to me in the parking lot. And then just as Nikita hits the ring, Blair rocks her right in the mouth.
Oh, it was
pops her right in the kisser. And then they just all start brawling. Now, this brawl does not end there. Like they start brawling there, and then it ends up going backstage. Later on in the show, they come out in the middle of other people's matches and they're still brawling. Just to kind of cut that in there because I probably won't mention it again. So it goes to Lee in a backstage segment where he's basically telling everybody, hey, I'm North American champ. And then he states that he's going to be doing like an open challenge and then just leaves. Like leaves the backstage. Like you're thinking he's going right.
Done.
You're thinking he's going right to the ring is what it looks like, you know? But then next we're introduced to the NXT breakout tournament contestants. So you've got, now this is what I was getting to get into is these tournament contestants are impressive looking dudes.
They are.
All of them. Like every single person.
Let me rephrase that. Let me retract what I said earlier. I've seen the highlights of this show on YouTube. I did not watch it live because I was sick at the time.
Yeah, well, see, you can still watch things. It's just maybe not in its entirety. Each one of these individuals look quite impressive. There's a lot of ex-football players. There was a guy from Chase U, which I'm sure that obviously is just a work, but it's just the whole idea of it was kind of fun. He's smaller than most of the other guys, but he's got some talent, and that comes into play in his match. So Lexus King comes out and he nails. There was this one guy with this Indian makeup, like he had a black line underneath his, like a football thing, but it was kind of like an Indian outfit thing he had going on. That would be American Indian. So he hits that dude in the back with a chair, knocks him clean.
Yep.
And it was just weird because like he smacks him with the chair and then he like laughs and backs off. Everybody acts like they're gonna do something, but they just stand there. They don't do anything. And then he goes in the backstage.
It's like a Cold War type thing.
Well, what happens is later on, him cracking that dude with the chair, what it turns out to do is that guy gets removed from the competition and he gets himself inputted into the situation. He's now in the competition. And like, who is that girl from, I gotta remember the name of the group. Oh, is that stupid faction where everybody's like happy with each other? What was the name of that faction that was going on for a little while there?
The Schism.
The Schism, yes. You remember The Rock's daughter?
Yep.
Okay, so The Rock's daughter's like playing like an authority figure in the background. And Lexus King, like she had no idea what his plan was. He's like, yeah, now I'm in it. And you didn't like the whole time she's like oblivious as to like he did this on purpose to make this happen, you know, and she just doesn't catch on to it. So it was kind of anyway. Okay, so the first match happens, and the winner of that match. Now, both of these people were impressive. One guy was Miles Bourne. He's a smaller guy, but he had some impressive moves. But Obafemi, I hope I said his name right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. He kind of smashes him at like it seemed like the dude was like winning, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Obafemi. These guys got some work to do as far as their in-ring work. All of them are kind of pretty green, you know, with the exception of they got a lot of ring work to do. Then it goes right into Tyler Bate and Lee for the title, which is the first.
Sorry.
You see how that worked? You know, like Lee did a backstage, then it's the breakout tournament guys show up, then this thing with Lexus King, then it's Obafemi, and then now here comes Dragon Lee, and he's going up against Tyler Bate. Dude, the match was blah. It was all right, I guess, but Lee retains. And so Osborne from Chase U in the challenge, he got he just got caved in. Like, I don't even know how to. Dude, this guy Carver is a monstrous dude, and he hit Osborne so hard I think his lungs flew out of his mouth. Like it was a hard hit, dude. It was hard. So Osborne wins with a shooting star press, which is total BS. Carver should have eaten that guy. As soon as he hit him with that, and it was I don't think he was supposed to hit him as hard as he did, is what I think.
It happens.
Yeah, I think kind of it was a little solid on him because after that hit, he should have just pinned him and it should have been over. But Osborne ended up getting up on the top turnbuckle and then did this shooting star press and wins the match. And it was like fluff. It wasn't a boom, devastating take out the big guy. It was just kind of a fluff move where he kind of just landed on him. I don't know. It was lackluster in my opinion. Next is a backstage segment. Lee is confronted by I think that was supposed to be Gulak, but it looks like Gulazak, so it's probably Gulak. Yeah, it is. Lee is confronted by Gulak, and Gulak's like pretending nice, and he's there with his
So more pretending nice from Drew Gulak.
yeah,
But
Drew
just
Gulak.
needs to leave WWE at this point. He's not being used for anything good recently.
Well, it's because you don't have anybody that's a real good grappler for him to really go up against in a way that works for Gulak. Gulak's kind of like this. He would be better as a total heel asshole. Like when he was doing that no flip thing, where he was telling everybody you can't go up on.
You can't, yeah, and a bunch of PowerPoints, yeah.
Yeah. That was kind of like
PowerPoint. Drew Gulak was that. I will admit, it was good.
that
good
was working.
Gulak.
You know what I mean? That they could have
That was
gone
good
somewhere
Gulak.
with it. Yeah. Well, but they could have fed more into that. This is where he's like training people and they're getting okay, and then they go out. I don't know. But he set
I
up a
don't get
challenge
it.
for next week. Well, and it could turn around. I mean, we're going to see right here because he challenged Lee for next week, and it's not necessarily going to be Gulak. Lee's going to find out next week who he goes up against between Gulak and his boys, whoever he chooses out of them. So we'll see where that goes. It might go somewhere, it may not go anywhere at all. I don't know. So Blair
Don't know.
Davenport, what's that?
I said we just don't know.
No, we don't. So Blair Davenport and Cora Jade to take on Volcaria and Nikita in a tag match. Nikita's ring gear looks like crap. It looks like a studded bra with some sort of like robe. It's just terrible. I don't know. I don't like her look. She doesn't impress me a whole lot all around. The thing that got me is at the end of this match. Do you know Tatum Paxley?
Yeah.
Okay, she crawls. So you got Valkyria laying down on the ground because they lost.
It's a weird thing. I know exactly what you're talking about.
The whole
It is
creepy hug
weird.
your face kind of thing that she does. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like
I've read comments underneath of it, and I'm like, and they're talking about the LGBTQ segments that was between Mickey James and I forget what the
Trish
other one
Stratus?
was. Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking
So-
about the stalker friend back in the day. How
Yeah, the
Mickey
stalker
James got
friend.
how Mickey James got introduced to WWE.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm kind of gathering from this. It's going to be somewhere along the same lines. So the end of the show, Ilya Dragunov and Trick are like facing off in the ring, and then here comes Carmelo out, and he blames Ilya for attacking him. He says some dumb shit, grabs the title, like, this Trick should have this, not you. He deserves it, not you. And he pulls the title from Ilya's hand and pops Trick in the face with it at the same time. Like it snapped out of his hands. So he accidentally pops Trick in the face. And then the end of the show shows Trick, like he shows Carmelo like reaching down to take Trick's hand. At the same time, everybody's going, Carmelo did it, some shit like that. Like they're, chanting that. And then he looks over at Ilya, he looks back at Trick, and then he pulls his hand back, and then he gets this like sneer in his face. And then it's the end of the show. So it really kind of is painting Carmelo in the I'm an asshole light.
Which is a good asshole, which is a good light to be in. to be a heel.
Yeah. I mean that'll
Especially
work.
when Trick Williams is one of the hottest baby faces right now.
So that is the culmination of the week in wrestling. So you have any thoughts? Anything you want to add?
I mean, yeah. I want to bring up something from AEW Dynamite.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. I didn't even get
we
into
we,
AEW.
we totally forget that AEW's out there, but it wasn't really interesting at all. Besides,
I don't forget they're out there. It's just a lot of the times I'm like, oh yeah,
it's like, they're just there. Tony Khan needs to give up the we talked about this last time.
yeah, he needs to put the
Tony,
pencil down and hand it to somebody
he
else.
needs to
for
put
sure.
pencil down. It's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, the match between Swerve Strickland. So the Dynamite was Winter's Coming. Their special episode was that week. Was
Okay.
Winter's Coming. It was when last time they did it.
I think I
Sting
caught some highlights,
debuted.
but I'm not sure because I was watching as much for AEW. For me, it's a little hard because I actually have to go onto YouTube to find this stuff because I don't have the paid
TBS.
subscription for that because I'm broke. I'm poor. I'm not a rich guy.
The
so-
Dynamite's on TBS.
Right, but you still got to pay for it.
True.
Yeah.
True. I just go through the app. It's fine.
Yeah. But all right.
The only thing that was really big, interesting out of it was the Continental Classic Gold League match between John Moxley and Swerve Strickland. It was a really good match. Surprisingly, really good. Mox pulled out the win and now is on the top of the leaderboard for a title, which I don't know when they're going to award anytime soon. Probably at World's End. There are a couple things, like when Ruby Soho stomped Riho in a corner.
So I didn't see the match, but I heard some things about the match between Chris and Edge or Adam Copeland. And I heard the match started out really good, but it ended kind of stupid.
It did. It ended really, really stupid.
And then I guess there's something to do with that kid's mom, and
no.
it's kind of just
This
crappy
kid's
writing.
mom, Nick Wayne's mom,
Yeah.
Prodigy, got involved in this match, and I'm like, you cost Adam Copeland the TNT Championship the week prior. And then you come out again. I think you have something out for this man. I get it. He gave a concerto to your son, but that doesn't give you the right. But that doesn't give you the right to cost a man a
Has
title
Hook
win.
been seen on TV lately?
Not recently.
I mean, because he seemed like he was starting to get a good push about the time Jack Perry decided to get himself choked out by Punk. Was Hook involved?
I mean, in the choking out, or
just in that whole situation, because I know that Hook and Jack were kind of working together for a while there, right?
a little bit, and then Jack Perry went all ballistic and started being dumb.
Yeah. So what about the devil?
The devil.
Now I saw something recently that caught my attention as somebody was saying that Wardlow was wearing the exact same boots as the character of the devil that came out later on. Possibly a chance that Wardlow might be the devil.
That could be. We still don't know. There's not really much. There are some theories that it could be Adam Cole.
Right.
Which would bring up a really nice match later down the line for the championship.
The only thing is Cole's like legit damaged goods right now, so I don't see
He is
that.
legit damaged, but I could also see him playing through it. He just has those crutches for for show.
Yeah, maybe.
Wardlow, because he looks huge.
Dr. Baker. That
No, I couldn't. No,
I've been hearing that one a lot lately.
I've been hearing it a lot lately too, but I'm like, no. I don't think so. I wouldn't think so. The devil could be Dr. Britt Baker.
Hmm.
I mean, that would be a nice touch, though. It'd still be an Adam Cole situation.
You know, I don't remember exactly how it went, but that whole classic that they're doing, the competition that they got.
Yeah, the Continental Classic
Yeah,
gold
well,
and silver
instead of
match.
having a new belt, they should be able to, the person that wins that gets a title shot.
That's what people are saying. It should be like what they do in New Japan, where you could hold on to that title for a year. You still gotta defend it, but you can turn it in at any time for a world title shot.
Yeah, it's just like Money in the Bank, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
I think it would give that tournament kind of more legs to stand on, and it would
Instead
make
of
it.
John Moxley probably more likely being the first Continental Champion.
Yeah, I just don't think they should have made a new championship. I think they should have just had it tie into the actual. They get a chance to go for MJF.
I agree, but I'm a sucker for title belts.
The more the
I
merrier
love
for
me.
you.
Yeah. But I'm not that type of person that's like, oh, give everyone a gold title. There are some people that don't.
Yeah, not everybody gets a trophy here, guys.
Yeah. No, not everyone gets a ribbon or a trophy.
Right. All right, man. You got anything
yeah.
else?
I mean, Collision was solid. I mean, there wasn't really anything noteworthy, but Collision was pretty solid.
Okay.
Rampage is Rampage. Rampage, I don't really pay attention to Rampage because it's turned into AEW Dark, but it's on TV and not YouTube.
Does AEW Dark still exist?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay. I was just curious because I haven't seen anything from it in a long time.
No, AEW Dark doesn't exist because of Rampage.
Which makes sense. I mean, you're gonna swim too deep in the different amount of shows you got. You're gonna get lost.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna pretty much do it for us tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And if you guys got any topics for one of our history things, make sure to hit us up on the Twitter machine or send us an email. Our Twitter and our YouTube is at 3 Count Thoughts, and our email again is 3countthoughts@gmail.com. And I hope you guys rate, review, and subscribe. Thank you very much, and have a great night. Say goodnight.
Oh, hey guys.
Hey, wait, what? Hey, what?
Before we go, we were just talking about the Iron Claw, right?
Uh-huh.
I forgot to mention Kevin Von Eriksen returned on AEW Dynamite and did the claw.
Oh, awesome.
I forgot to mention it.
Well, for those of you that didn't get to see that, make sure that you go back and check that out on AEW. And we will see you next week. Say goodnight.
Good morning.
This podcast is part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.